The island of Mull, situated just off the west coast of Scotland, separated from the mainland and the town of Oban by the Sound of Mull. It's an island of overwhelming natural beauty, with mountainous peaks and windswept moorland, ancient castles and breathtaking glens. Robert Louis Stevenson described Mull in his novel Kidnapped as this out-of-the-way sea-bound isle. But modern communications have made the mainland easily accessible, not only for farmers exporting sheep and highland cattle, but also for the many hundreds of visitors during the summer months. And the sea itself still plays a part, providing abundant fishing grounds and more recently an aqualung diving centre near Craignure. Just off the rocky coastline, the ocean still harbours one of its closest secrets, the treasure of a Spanish galleon. But once a year, the peace of this Hebridean isle is shattered by the arrival of a special event.
And third overall 75. 4, 3, standard road car.
The 1976 Tour of Mull is the 8th to be organised by the 2300 Club, the Mullard Motorcycle and Car Club from Blackburn. An annual event, it qualifies for the 6th time in 1976 as a round of the Motoring News Championship. Entries from all over the country, 1976 attracted 145 in all, and a variety of cars taking part, make the Tour of Mull one of the most popular rallies in the motorsport calendar. After the ceremonial start by local dignitary and hotel owner Bobby MacLeod, the cars make their way to the first 2 stages of the afternoon section, which are held in the forest of Lettermore. First car through the second of the Lettermore stages is last year's winner Ian Gemmell with co-driver Fru Bryden in an RS2000. At this early stage in the rally, they're lying second overall. Second car through, but already slipped to 11th overall, the Triple C pound stretcher Viva GT of Chris Coburn and Rodney Spokes, winners of the event in 1974. Next through Lettermore 2, the Escort RS2000 of the Lancashire team David Cowan and Fez Parker. Again, stalwarts of Mull over the years, 1976 brings them back with a brand new car and high hopes. But it's to number 4 that all eyes are turned, the distinctive RS1800 driven by Willie Crawford with Roger Turnbull. Already fastest on the first Lettermore stage and now with a 20-second lead, they look like trouncing Scots and Sassenachs alike. Meanwhile, Tony Jackson and Rod Carter, well placed in their Escort TC, are pursued by John Edwards Parton and Keith Wood, making up lost time after an off in the forest. De Veeg on the way to the tarmac stage of Glengorm at the north end of the island, and David Cowan presses on, unaware of his impending retirement on the next stage with a broken differential. At the start of the Glengorm special section, Chris Coburn and Rodney Spokes, now moving up to 5th place and driving on the pace notes vital in this rally, whose sale helped to finance their rally activities this year.
Long fast right. Fast and left. Medium slow right. Fast left. Into long fast right. Over cattle bridge. Fast right into ground straight on.
As the top runners make their way through the Glengorm stage, not so happy is motoring news champion Mick Bryant in a borrowed RS2000, having rolled his own car badly the previous weekend. So far, he's lying only 24th overall. But again on Glengorm, it's Crawford who takes the fastest time, increasing his lead to 28 seconds over Ian Gemmell. As the leaders reach the end of the afternoon section, back in Lettermore, the bright sunshine does little to console Midlanders Chris Beddoe and Stuart Derry, who made a somewhat too close inspection of the Mull scenery. A helping hand is called for as the rest of the field heads for a welcome break before the gruelling night section. Tobermory Main Street has now been transformed into a vast service area as crews make use of the vital few hours break to change brake pads and tyres, put right the damage of the afternoon and prepare for the long road section. As the night begins to fall, a last-minute check by some drivers to make sure all is well. A change in the weather, bringing heavy rain for most of the night, is to change the field radically as the cars enter Cemetery Bend and bring with it a glut of retirements. It's now midnight as the cars begin to arrive at Craignure for the first petrol halt. Mike Patterson, destined to be motoring news champion for 1976, is comfortably placed third overall. John Burton from Leicestershire, at this stage in 11th place, navigated by Dave Cabina, a veteran of all previous 7 Tours of Mull. And while Willie Crawford fills the RS with petrol, navigator Roger Turnbull checks the position after 2 hours of the night section, which gives them a comfortable 1.5-minute lead. Lying 7th are Mull heroes Neil McKinnon and Donald McKinnon. Craig Muir gives time for a quick rest for the drivers, while service crews have a chance to complete tyre changes before the rally moves back into the forest at Fishnish. But what's the night been like so far? Tony Jackson of Cumbria, now lying 12th in his Escort TC.
We're on the Spokes' notes at the moment, and it's just taking a bit of getting used to, you know. We'd be better off on our own, I think, really, to be perfectly honest, because it's really frightening, you know. Really frightening.
And Lancashire driver Pete Wagstaff, now steadily progressing up the field, was sure that the weather was having some effect.
I think the times are a lot slower this year. Probably around to here, it's about 5 minutes difference to what it would be last year. And I don't suppose we've lost time, but only towards, you know, to the other people.
Looking ahead, what about next section? Anything worrying?
Yeah, Fishnish. Don't like the forest stages.
The rally moves on through the night, taking in a special stage in Fishnish Forest, then more tarmac selectives across the island through Saarland, De Veeg and on to Tobermory. Halfway through the night section, and at the end of the De Veeg Tobermory selective, Ian Gemmell and Fru Bryden are still losing ground to the leaders with a misfiring engine. Meanwhile, Willie Crawford goes from strength to strength, increasing his lead by another 20 seconds. Still third overall is Mike Pattison, while Mick Bryant fights back to climb up the results table. But now in second place, Cyril Bolton, who's chasing Crawford for all he's worth, having taken fastest times on the third and fourth selectives. As the cars make their way around the narrow, twisting island roads for the second time, Mr. Wilson at the filling station at Craigmuir keeps a wary eye on his supplies. One man who can be pleased with himself at this stage is Angus McPherson, on his way to 12th overall. Not so happy is Malcolm Haig, worried about navigator Peter Harrop's car sickness, which could force them to retire. Another local crew, Willie McLean and Donald Kersop from Tobermory, driving a Mexico for the first time on the tour. Tor Bridge on the final selective, and Neil McKinnon is now pulling out all the stops following an off on the 6th selective. It's now almost 5 a.m. as the first drivers begin to cross the finishing line after nearly 200 miles of competitive motoring. First home, finishing 8th overall, are local lads Neil McKinnon and Donald McKinnon. 9th are John Burton and Dave Cabina. But a disappointed Mick Bryant finishes a lowly 16th equal with a delighted number 16, driven by Keith Watkinson. Mike Patterson and David Taylor storm home to take 3rd place. And for Cyril Bolton and Nigel Rayburn, 2nd place, vital points in the Motoring News Championship and the best placed Mini on Mull since 1969. 11th overall is Tony Jackson in the Escort TC. And for Willie Crawford, after a truly brilliant drive, the reward of winning an event for the first time in 8 years. The rest of the field makes its way to the finish. Some elated, others, like Ian Gemmell, dejected after finishing 7th with his perpetually misfiring engine. After the tension of the night, a brief rest on the Sunday gives way to celebration in the evening, beginning with the prize giving, where local bard Angus McIntyre reflects the friendly attitude of the inhabitants of Mull towards the event.
We hope that the rally will come and will come for many, many years indeed. I think that that sentiment is one with which we must all very, very much agree.
And now to the presentations. Neil McKinnon and Donald McKinnon, the toast of the island, winning their trophy as best Mull crew. Fourth overall, Bill Gwynn and Howard Moore. And collecting their trophies, Mike Patterson and Dave Taylor. Cyril Bolton and Nigel Rayburn, sporting some free publicity for their sponsor, step up to receive their well-deserved 2nd prize. And of course, for the winners, Willie Crawford and Roger Turnbull from Edinburgh, a traditional Scottish celebration. Not to mention a magnum or two of champagne at the start of what is going to be a long night of revelry throughout the island. A fine end to the Tour of Mull, 1976.